Okay, part 2 of adaptive immunity. Sorry about that, running out of time. So the point is that the memory cell remains in your body, spread throughout lymph nodes and in your spleen. And the next time you get the disease, this is supposed to be a second occurrence of the disease here, many years later, or maybe just a few months later. What happens? Your memory cell has the code. It has the perfect antibody that it took a while to make and find last time. So very quickly, again, clones itself, many more clones, and it very quickly produces a phenomenally large amount of antibodies, literally in the millions. And so it responds to the disease so quickly that you probably never feel it, or you might feel it very mildly. Okay? And then it again makes more memory cells to keep for the future, for again, if there's ever a future occurrence. So this is what immunity is, right? This storing of memory cells, the storing of a B lymphocyte with specific antibodies that it has used in the past and that it's going to keep for the future. Okay, it's called, the technical term is, it's called a secondary response. It just means a recurrence of the same sickness. And this can happen many, many years later, right? You know that immunity can be many, many, many years. And it's a stronger, faster response, which means you get a mild sickness or no sickness. Okay, this is another picture of the same thing in case it helps you. Note that your body has a huge variety of B lymphocytes. They exist in great variety so that there can be a great variety of antibodies so that when a new sickness comes along, your body can say, hey, maybe this antibody works. Okay, what about this one? All right, maybe this one works. And it has to have a massive number of antibodies to try so that when the right antibody with the right chemical complex to be able to bind to the pathogen comes along, it says, that's the one we need. And that, of course, is the B cell, which will be activated and which will multiply itself. So huge variety of types of antibodies, all waiting for the moment in which their antibody proves to be important because it binds to the disease, to that pathogen you have. Okay, so this is the same thing again, just a picture of it. This picture makes the plasma cells look more alike the original cell. So it might be less confusing. You might want to look at this model. Okay, this is just a note that, remember, there are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B cell, really more precisely, is a B lymphocyte and a T lymphocyte. We are only learning about these. These are the ones with the antibodies. There's a whole other section of adaptive immunity that we're not going to learn anything about. Notice that this attacks the invaders, the pathogens outside the cells, right? The free pathogens and antigens. This attacks them once they have infected cells. So this attacks cells that have been infected. In fact, that's why they're often called killer T cells. They have this dramatic name. But we're not going to learn anything about T cells. But what you want to know is there's tons more of adaptive immunity that I haven't even learned about. And it involves these things called T lymphocytes. Okay, fill in the blank. To have memory cells stored throughout the lymph nodes of your body is to have blank to that pathogen or that disease. I'm sure you know what it is. To have immunity to that disease. And here's our last detail. What is a vaccine? It is a weak or dead sample of the pathogen. Sometimes it might be just a portion of the pathogen, just the part with the surface proteins. And even though it is weak or dead, it will provoke the entire immune response in your body, which means it will cause your body to generate all those antibodies and memory cells so that now you have immunity to that disease without ever having had the disease. Perhaps you might have had the disease in a very, very mild form. You've heard that maybe vaccines can cause a little bit of fever or super mild form. Okay, so in this picture, this person is being vaccinated. What's in the vaccine? Here's the pathogen. The pathogen is, they're saying attenuated. That's a fancy name for weakened. Or just the antigen. Do you see how this is just the surface protein? Just the surface protein or some other portion of it is there. Don't worry about adjuvants. So it's a weak part of the pathogen or a portion of the pathogen that's being injected. And look what it does to the person. It makes this guy's whole adaptive immune response kick in till he gets lots of memory cells and lots of antibodies. And now he has long-term immunity to that illness. And that is the end of the story. These are your questions on adaptive immunity. Oops, sorry about that. These are your questions on adaptive immunity. Remember to watch the review video for last time's material. It's real short. And now you can better understand all this talk about the search for vaccination for corona and the need to get antibodies and so on and so forth. Okay, girls, make time to enjoy the sunshine today. Make time for your siblings or your parents and for something beautiful. Love you. Take care. Bye bye.